Krishna Kirtana Ganana Tana Param Premamritam Vanidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priyam Priyakaram Nirmasaram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Pod and the Sankirtan mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Welcome everyone this morning, and thank you for your constant focus on the process of hearing and chanting, along with your God brothers, the disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. And I especially want to thank one of our new members, Bhaktivedanta in France, who's always on book distribution, by the way, and we're moving ahead in a plan. There he is, such a beautiful face. We're moving ahead with a plan to print the Bhagavad-gītas in French, the original version. We're going to do some under his guidance, and Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, our senior editor, of course. We are going to make some minor adjustments to some of the texts that were improperly translated back then, years ago in the 70s. And it's a plan to introduce these books into that marketplace again with the help of Bhakti Rupesh, not Bhakti Rupesh, with Bhakti Jad, and a small team of Sankirtan devotees that he has formed in order to enable this distribution to go on. And we're also working with Vijay Pandit Das in Prabhu in Italy. I had a long talk with him yesterday, a very enlivening talk. He's such a sincere disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And we're working in that way to also present the Italian Bhagavad-gītā, the proper one, and other books, Sri Upanishad, Easy Journey to Other Planets, other books like that. Small amounts, but at least authorized versions of these books for the public, for these people, the Sankirtan devotees in both France and Italy. So this is a big accomplishment for our group to preserve Prabhupada's legacy in his original books, which are logical. You know, if we talk about this Shrimvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha, we talk about hearing and chanting constantly, but this is a standard process for anyone that's learning This isn't something that's just specific to the Vaishnava tradition. This is something that goes on. In every field of life, people have to learn how to listen. And in our particular case, Kṛṣṇa, all we're saying is just read the original versions of Srila Prabhupada's books, because Srila Prabhupada is the transparent via media for Krishna. He is. He lives in sound. He does not go away when the material body disappears from this material platform. He's living on in sound, and his disciples will live with him. So this is a principle that we're following, and the reason we talk about unchanged, unedited books is because of the perfect presentation that Prabhupada said, being the representative of Krishna. And anyone who starts to interpret or change these books, they're committing a great offense, because they have motive in their actions. There's motive, that's why they change. For the honest devotee, he realizes, how could I possibly change anything that has been delivered by Srila Prabhupada? Is because of mundane vision. There was an example, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu brings it up, that when Prabhupada was very sick, he wanted the devotees in Vrindavan to take him to Govardhan Hill, and they would, in that way, he felt he would be cured of his disease. And they refused to take him. No, we know better. You don't know what you're doing. That was the mentality. So this type of mentality is a mistake. And it's a sign of, you could say, enviousness. Everyone is envious in this world, Prabhupada explains. And it's very hard to find people that are non-envious. Very hard. Bahunam janmanam ante. Very, very difficult. It's a common disease in society and in the spiritual society of ISKCON. That this enviousness, even though it's not presented that way, it's coming out that way. And it's appearing that it to many people, tens of thousands of people, like someone could say, how come your group is bringing these points up? It's not our group. It isn't. It's tens of thousands of disenchanted people from the ISKCON society that can see the truth. I want to thank Bhaktivedanta, by the way, our new marketing director. Yes, we're working on some commercials to promote our classes. Yes, and we have a new commercial out on the Facebook page, Prabhupada Disciples Association. Incidentally, we have almost 22,000 members, so it's building gradually. And I believe that Bhaktivedanta was looking at our YouTube page, and we have almost 100,000 views. So it's not a lot. I know he doesn't like it when I say that, but compared to other people that are online, they get millions of views, but this is our goal. And we produced this commercial, and we have three more in production that we're going to be put into the forum of the internet. Remember, it's a media, it's a social media. So when you're running an organization, you may want to get your story in the newspaper. Oh, let me get my note, and then everyone will know us. Well, in this modern times of 2024, Kṛṣṇa, what we're doing is putting it into social media, which can reach millions of people at one moment. So like that, we can give this message of truth of truth to people, that Prabhupada lives in sound, not this Vapu nonsense that the ISKCON group is propagating to innocent people who are coming forward to become devotees and being misled. Oh my God, what a tragedy. You know who's the greatest sufferer of this tragedy, Mataji? Are the people that are perpetrating it. Because at the end, when they leave their bodies, they'll have to pay for the karma of that. Maybe while they're living in this body, they're going to pay for the karma. And after, this is a great atrocity. The misrepresentation of truth is not a small thing. So this hoax that's gone on is gone. It's been exposed, everyone. Only those people that are so confused, so compromised, so bewildered will believe this. But outside of that, there are tens of thousands of people that understand this hoax has been perpetrated by ambitious people that got involved in a movement that were nobodies before they joined, by the way. Mr. Zeros. And then they thought they could become somebody in association with our spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, who is one of the is the greatest preacher of Krishna consciousness in the history of the modern world since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you want to capture the assets, you want to capture the glory, you want to capture the fame. You're a Mr. Nobody and you want to become Mr. Somebody by perpetrating this false position that now somehow or other by misinformation, you've become a Diksha guru? Oh my God. What a tragedy. And some people are thinking, oh, well, why do you bring that up? Well, we're not bringing it up. We're just talking about it in a frank way with our God brothers and God sisters in our forum here. We're just trying to see the truth and then explain it to others. So thank you very much. The ISKCON hoax, guru hoax, has been exposed, and now throughout the world, thousands and thousands and thousands of people know what went down. Hey, Krishna Kata, we know. And so therefore, we're going to march forward. Don't forget to send in your Guru Puja. We're going to continue with the Jaladutta diaries. It's a very interesting section we're in today. It's a section from the Srimad Bhagavatam, a promotional piece that Prabhupada created, Rupesh. And this particular piece was sent off, the first little section here at the bottom, with the help of Sumati Maharajji's secretary, Mr. Choksi. Srila Prabhupada had 500 copies of this small pamphlet printed for distribution in America. The pamphlet contains, the 8 verses written by Lord Chaitanya and an advertisement for Srimad Bhagavatam in the context of an advertisement for the Scindia company. Oh, very creative. So that's called leverage. This is Prabhupada's first sponsor. That's what you do. Oh, I'll put your name up. Just write what I want to say. And Prabhupada presented this pamphlet of truth by having a sponsor. And Sumati Maharajji did sponsor Prabhupada with a ticket on the Jaladutta to come to America. And so here, we're going to read this message of goodwill. 60 volumes of an elaborate English version by Tridandi Goswami, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, carried by the Scindia Steam Navigation Company Limited, Bombay, all over the world for scientific knowledge of God. Oh. Excuse me, everyone. The sufferings of the entire human society can once be brought about under control simply by the individual practice of bhakti yoga, a simple and easy process of chanting the holy name of God. Every country, every nation, and every community throughout the world has some concept. Has some conception of the holy name of God, and so much, and as such, either the Hindus or the Mohammedans or the Christians, every one of them, can easily chant the holy name of God in a meditative mood, and that will bring about the required peace and goodwill in the present problematic human society. Very problematic, as we can see today, where countries are so disturbed by their demoniac leaders. Any inquiry in this connection will be gladly answered by Sri Swamiji. The Hindus generally chant the holy names of God in 16 chain of transcendental sound, composed of 32 alphabets, as Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The Vedic literatures, like the Upanishads and the Puranas, do recommend chanting of the above-mentioned 16 holy names at a stretch. And Lord Sri Chaitanya, who preached this cult, by the way, the word cult back then was a group of people that followed a particular belief system, not a bad Jim Jones type group. The chanting of the holy name of God gave special importance on these transcendental, let's see, are you there? Yep. Sounds. In this age of Kali, or the age of hate, hypocrisy, corruption, and quarrel, the only practical remedial measure is that every man should chant the holy name of the Lord both individually and collectively. And just see, everyone, hate, hypocrisy, corruption, and quarrel, has it changed from the 1965 to 2024? No, it hasn't. It's fact, is God much worse. The glories of the holy name have been described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his 8 verses of Sikshastaka, which runs as follows. 1. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all dust accumulated for years together, and thus the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death is extinguished. Such Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for the humanity at large because it spreads rays of the benediction mood. It is the life of transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it helps to have a taste of the full nectar for which we are anxious, which we are always anxious. We are. 2. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction upon the living being, and therefore you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna, Govinda, etc. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental potencies, and there's no hard and fast rules for chanting these holy names. Oh my Lord, you have so kindly made easy approach to you by your holy names, but unfortunate as I am, I have no attraction for them. 3, one can chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking himself as lower than the straw on the streets, tolerant more than the trees, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and being ready to offer all kinds of respects to others. Oh, number 4, oh, the Almighty Lord, I have no desire for accumulating wealth, nor have I any desire to enjoy beautiful women, neither I want any number of followers of mine. Wonder if people are remembering these prayers, or they're just forgetting them, especially these gurus. What I want only is that I may have your causeless devotional service in my life, birth after birth. 5, O the son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servitor, and although I am so, somehow or other, I've fallen on the ocean of birth and death. Please, therefore, pick me up from the ocean of death and fix me up as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. We're insignificant. Yes, we are, everyone. 6, O my Lord, when shall my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing incessantly by chanting your holy name? And when will all the holes of hairs on my body will have eruptions by the recitation of your name? 7, O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment as 12 years or more than that, and tears flowing down my cheeks like the torrents of rains. I'm feeling all vacant in the world without your presence. And 8, I do not know anyone except Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain as such, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or he may make me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything, but he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. So we'll stop there, but these prayers are spoken by Lord Chaitanya. They give us deep insight in how to act as devotees moving forward in the Sankirtan mission. So meditate on them. We'll all meditate on them. Try to understand them and put them in practice in your life. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Let's move forward with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava, and then our Bhagavad-gītā As It Is class with Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu in Twain Harte, California. Hare Krishna.
Sai.
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giridhavan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskrityam Narayanam namaskrityam Naram cheva narottamam Naram cheva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Tato Jayam Mudirayet. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Nara-Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad-gītā. As we do every week, we will read a few selected verses from the introduction to the Bhagavad-gītā, which were introduced by Srila Prabhupada himself in 1966 in New York. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, as well as Raghunath Dasa and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivas, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishaka. E Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostuti. O my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Ghorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desired trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Again, welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad-gītā. This week we will be reading from chapter 11, text number 38 and 39. Rupesh? We will repeat the Sanskrit. It should be noted here that all the synonyms, translations, and purports are by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Tvamadi Devaha Purusha Puranas Tvamasya Vishvasya Param Nidhanam Vittasya Vidyam Chaparam Chadhama Tvayatatam Vishvamananta Rupa Tvam You Adidevaha, the original Supreme God. Purushaha, personality. Puranaha, old. Tvam, you. Asya, this Vishvasya universe, Param, transcendental, Nidhanam, refuge, Vetta, knower, Asi, you are, Vidyam cha, and the knowable, Param cha, and transcendental, Dhamma, refuge, Tvaya, by you, Tatam, pervaded, Vishvam, universe, Anantarupa, unlimited form. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. You are the original personality, the Godhead. You are the only sanctuary of this cosmic world, this manifested cosmic world. You know everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are above the material molds, O limitless form. This whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. Purport by His Divine Grace. Everything is resting on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore is the ultimate rest. Nidhanam means that everything, even the Brahman effulgence, rests on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. He is the knower of everything that is happening in this world. And if knowledge has any end, he is the end of all knowledge. Therefore, he is the known and the knowable. He is the object of knowledge because he is all-pervading. Because he is the cause in the spiritual world, he is transcendental. He is also the chief personality in the transcendental world. Text number 39. Vayur yamognir varunaha shashankaha prajapatistvam prapitamahascha namo namaste stu sahasrakritvaha punascha bhuyo apinamo namaste. Vayuhu, air, Yamaha, controller, Agnihi, fire, Varunaha, water, Shashankaha, moon, Prajapatihi, Brahma, Tvam, you, Prapita Maha, grandfather, Cha, also, Namaha, offering respects, Namaste, again I offer my respects unto you. Astu, our being, Sahasrakritvaha, 1,000 times. Punaha cha, and again. Bhuyaha, again. Api, also. Namaha, offer my respects. Namaha te, offering my respects unto you. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. You are air, fire, water, and you are the moon. You are the supreme controller and the grandfather. Thus I offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again and yet again. Purport by His Divine Grace. The Lord is addressed here as air because the air is the most important representation of all the demigods, being all-pervasive. Arjuna also addresses Krishna as the grandfather because he's the father of Brahma, the first living creature in the universe. So we have a very interesting description here in this section of the Bhagavad-gītā, where Arjuna is praising Krishna, describing his exalted qualities. We see in text number 38, he's describing Adi Devaha, you are the original personality of Godhead. And so many descriptions are given of him, because we see that the impersonalists have misunderstood the intent of the revealed scriptures, the intent of the Shastras. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has cited a very important verse that's described what is the purpose of all these different scriptures, these revealed scriptures. And he explains, he quotes, Vede Ramayane Cheva Purane Bharate Tata Ado Andacha Madhyecha Harihi Sarabhatra Giyate. That all of these different scriptures, the Veda, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas, all these scriptures, from the beginning to the middle to the end, all the entire purpose is to glorify Lord Hari. And that this is a very important point. In the second canto of the Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada explains that Jiva Goswami, after analyzing all the different scriptures, all the different revealed scriptures, the conclusion is given that one should always meditate and glorify Lord Narayana. This is a very important point, because many persons think that this meditation on the impersonal Brahman is the goal. But we see later on in the Bhagavad-gītā how Lord Krishna will explain Brahmanohi Pratishtaham, that I am the rest of the Brahman. Here Prabhupada explains in the purport, he is all-pervading because he is the cause in the spiritual world. He is transcendental. He is also the chief personality in the transcendental world. He is the rest. Even the Brahman effulgence rests on the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. When we look in the Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 15, Lord Krishna explains, Vedeshtaha sarverahame vedyaha, that the goal of studying the Veda is to understand Krishna. Vedanta krideva videvachaham, that I am the compiler of Vedanta. There's so many philosophers and so-called Sanskrit scholars, pseudo-Sanskrit scholars, who spend so much time studying Vedanta, studying different shastras to try to understand the Brahman, the absolute truth. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gītā very simply that I am that absolute truth. We've often related the story how we had gone to South India to discuss, to preach in Bangalore in 1972. And one Pandit came to see us, and he wanted to argue, wanted to debate. So we said, okay. We offered him some water, gave him a nice seat. And we said, okay, what do you have to say? So he was such a fool that he started to criticize Krishna. And Guru Kripa Swami at the time immediately interrupted him, and he told him, no, Krishna is not subject to your speculation. He was criticizing Krishna for dancing with the gopis, for telling Maharaj Yudhishthira in the Mahabharata to lie. So many misinterpretations. So Guru Kripa defeated him pretty quickly. So when we saw Prabhupada in October of 1972 in Vrindavan, at the end of 1972, Srila Prabhupada was giving a series of Nectar of Devotion lectures at the Radha Damodar Temple in Vrindavan. We related to Srila Prabhupada this story of what happened with this so-called Pandit, or Bandit, whatever. And Prabhupada raised his hand. He says, what you should do whenever this kind of situation arises, you should first tell them, unless you understand who is Krishna, you cannot understand Krishna's activities. Prabhupada kept repeating this point. No one can understand Krishna and his activities only unless they understand who is Krishna. Who is that person? And Prabhupada says, you quote him 3 verses. Bhagavad-gītā 7:7. Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. Krishna says in Bhagavad-gītā, there is no truth superior to me. Everything depends upon me, like pearls strung on a thread. Then you quote him Bhagavad-gītā chapter 10, text number 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. You quote him that. Then you quote him the first verse of Brahma Samhita chapter 5. Ishvara parama Krishna sachidananda vigraha. Anadiradir govinda sarva karana karanam. Then you explain that this is the reality of who is Krishna. He is the supreme, he is the source of everything. No one is superior to him. There is actually one of Krishna's name in the Vishnu Sahasranam called Asamurdva. Asama Urdhva. It's a combination of 2 Sanskrit words that no one is equal to or greater than Krishna. Just like our Muslim friends, sometimes they say Allahu Akbar, that God is great. Yeah, we say that. No one is greater than God. He's the greatest. He's the source of everything. But how great he is, that is described elaborately in Bhagavad-gītā, Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahma Samhita, and so many places. And it's important for devotees to read and become acquainted, to read and go in further depth to understand all these topics in Prabhupada's books. Recently, one devotee who regularly comes to this program brought to my attention that one devotee on Facebook was criticizing one of his postings where Prabhupada, in the postings, it says, does Prabhupada commit mistake? And in that write-up, there's a statement that the senses of the pure devotee are directly controlled by Krishna. So somebody objected. It was not very clear from his writing. He was not articulating his objection very nicely. So I told this devotee, if you look in Bhagavad-gītā in the first chapter, text number 15, there's a very nice description by Srila Prabhupada. It's on page 43 of the original Bhagavad-gītā. There's a nice description in a purport where Srila Prabhupada says, Lord Krishna is referred to as Rishikesha in this verse because he is the owner of all senses. The living entities are part and parcel of him, and therefore the senses of the living entities are also part and parcel of his senses. The impersonalists cannot account for the senses of the living entities, and therefore they're always anxious to describe all living entities as senseless or impersonal. The Lord, situated in the hearts of all living entities, directs their senses, but he directs in terms of the surrender of the living entity. And in the case of a pure devotee, he directly controls the senses. Well, here is Prabhupada making a statement here, very clearly, very definitely, and it's very simple to understand. It's not complicated, that a pure devotee's senses are directly controlled by Krishna. Here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Lord directly controls the transcendental senses of Arjuna, and thus his particular name of Rishikesha. So this is a very important point. I guess what I'm trying to say here, devotees should not try to speak some nonsense, foolish statement or speculation, objecting to something without first researching and studying Prabhupada's statements. Prabhupada has spoken so many different points in so many different lectures, so many different books, so many different conversations, and now we also have Srila Prabhupada's letters, that if one takes a little bit of time, carefully and submissively to hear from Srila Prabhupada, then everything becomes clear. And this is the problem. We often discuss, people will say, oh, you too, there, Vishwakarma and Yasoda, you're criticizing some of these people. We're not criticizing. We're not fault-finding. We are fact-finding. Fact-finding. We are analyzing the facts and the mistakes that have been made, so devotees will be warned. So devotees will understand not to make the same mistakes again, not to rush into conclusion, not to rush to judgment without getting all the facts straight and studying things properly. Just like detectives sometimes will undergo a lot of effort, a lot of inquiries, and will take some time before they can ascertain all the facts of a particular criminal case. They don't rush into it and say, oh, this person is guilty. He might be. They might sense that this person is guilty, but they have to prove this in a court of law. They have to gather the evidence, submit the evidence to the prosecutors of the district attorney in America, so that there can be a case where they can prove that something is committed. They take a lot of detail, a lot of painstaking detail to ascertain all the facts. It is not just emotion. It is not just sentiment. It is not just a hunch or a gut feeling. No. They gather all the facts, they gather all the evidence, and then when they sense that this is something pretty serious, that they have the evidence, they will present this to the prosecutors or the district attorney. Now, what we have in our movement, people that are supposed to be sober, intelligent, analytical, and experienced, they rush into conclusion. And they make very serious mistakes affecting the lives of thousands upon thousands, millions of people. We have to learn, like Prabhupada used to often say, to submissively hear from the authorized Acharya. And this is very important. We see in the Ishopanishad, and we've discussed this several times, there's a few Sanskrit words, iti shushrumadiranam, thus I have learned from authorities. How many times in the Srimad Bhagavatam we hear Shukadev Goswami, Sutta Goswami, the sage of Naimisharanya, discussing how we have heard from authorities. One cannot speculate, one cannot invent his own interpretation. And one should develop a taste for discussion, for proper, intelligent, sober, cool-headed discussion. Otherwise, it simply becomes a sahajya group, a mutual admiration society. And this is the problem. In order to advance in spiritual life, one has to develop a taste to hear from the Acharya. We hear from the Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Shushrushoho Shraddhadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchihi Tyan Mahat Sevaya Vipraha Punyatirtha Nishevanat. That one should develop a taste by rendering service to the devotees. Why did Prabhupada always tell us, just try to understand, read the books, study my books? There was a conversation in Australia where the question was raised about Srila Prabhupada's books, where Srila Prabhupada directly said that these books are representatives of God. Srila Prabhupada's books are direct representative of God. If somebody is serious about understanding spiritual life, about progressing in the science of spiritual realization, one should very carefully and studiously analyze and study each and every word of Prabhupada's books, and don't rush to conclusion right away. Like somebody reached a conclusion recently, oh, Srila Prabhupada had to learn to control his senses. Excuse me? No. Prabhupada was a liberated soul from birth. He was a Nitya Siddha, an eternally liberated soul. He didn't have to learn to control his senses. His senses were controlled right from the start. He never forgot Krishna even for a moment in his whole life. So one cannot judge the activities of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada from a conditioned perspective. One has to analyze the activities of a pure devotee by hearing submissively from a pure devotee. Otherwise, one will become bewildered, as we have seen so many times. One such person in 1977 was heard whispering on a tape, oh, Prabhupada wants to be engaged in some spiritual activity. Excuse me? You are thinking that Prabhupada is engaged in some other activities besides spiritual activity? So this is very important. One cannot inject his own interpretation, his own speculation into the words and activities of a pure devotee. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
My microphone is listening to the class on my speaker so other people in the room could also hear the lecture by Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. It's important for us to share Krishna consciousness with others, for those that are blessed with this understanding. It is important for us to share it with other people. And I thought that Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu told a very interesting story about Srila Prabhupada and his personal instructions to him. That Prabhupada said, unless you understand who is Krishna, you cannot understand his activities. Obviously, it's jumping forward without being trained up in this philosophy. And I wanted to make a parallel, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu's, to this comment, a parallel position that we're in. Unless you understand who is Prabhupada, you can't understand Krishna. This is the basis of a spiritually inquisitive person, to get a bona fide guru. So if you have a bogus guru, can you understand Krishna? The bogus guru means bogus disciple. You could be sincere. You could be, just like in Christianity, there are so many people that are following the Christian path. But Nila Shama, you know, like in Hamilton here, there's 300 churches. And each church has a different preacher. I've mentioned before, one of the members here at the ashram, he goes to the Christian church run by Prophet Tom. So there are all kinds of churches these days that are set up for the individual development of the pastor or priest or prophet that's there. So like that, in the current ISKCON group, there are so many different people that have got their own organization set up for personal development of their understanding of the philosophy. Like in Atlanta, there's Krishna Life. Somewhere in southern states, there's Krishna West. And in India, there's people there that are set up to operate hospitals, to operate different charitable causes, feed children. And in this way, they're utilizing philosophy to control people and get donations. This is very common, actually, Nilesh, you know that. And I know that from my experiences in Sankirtan, going on the streets for many years, actually, in the 70s, that if you go up to a person and you say to them, oh, by the way, what? Can you give us a donation to feed kids? What's the first thing they do? Go to their wallet, hand over some money. Sure, I'll help kids. Sentimentalism. We're helping kids. Real welfare work means to give people an understanding of how to get out of the cycle of birth and death. Because that is our biggest problem. No question. I have someone right now, a friend of mine since 1980, and I got an announcement from her yesterday in the hospital that she's on the verge of death. Oh, yeah. And I've been trying to help her over the years, give her some guidance. She couldn't listen. Now, all of a sudden, on the verge of death, she is somewhat receptive because she realizes everything she's done is a mistake. And I told her in a chat, Kṛṣṇa, I said to her, listen, I want you to do this. She goes, what? I said, at the moment when you're ready to leave your body, chant the name of Krishna as loud as you can. And I repeated it over and over and over in the chat. Remember Krishna. She's about ready to die. Her son went to see her in the hospital. He broke down crying because her liver is destroyed. Her blood is dried up. She's no longer functioning as a vital person. Vitality is gone. But what's the most important thing? I also told another member of the ashram here, I said, okay, you're floundering along, trying to become, better, but you're not making much progress. So remember this one thing. When you're ready to leave your body, I want you to say this, Krishna, hold my hand. Krishna, and it's in his mind now. Put it in his brain. We all know the very famous pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam of Ajamil, because at the time of death, he spoke the names of God, and then he was saved. I've actually written an adaptation of that play, and we're planning to put it out from the Srimad Bhagavatam in social media to give people this insight. This is the highest welfare work. And you cannot get the benefit of this mission unless you understand who Srila Prabhupada is. It won't happen. I have a recent Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu was mentioning, I was talking to some fellow, chatting with him from Badger, California. I don't know who he is. And all of a sudden he revealed to me yesterday, I'm a Prabhupada disciple, but I follow Sridhar. Oh, really? So here, somehow or other, we were told, don't associate with the members of the Gaudiya Math. All of us, I have a written letter to that from Srila Prabhupada. Do not read their books, he told us. Do not associate with them. And yet, somehow or other, some of our God brothers, unfortunately, due to whatever reasons, mostly because of the mistakes made by our other God brothers who accepted their position as Diksha gurus, that they wandered off to the Gaudiya Math and became followers of that group. What a mistake. Absolutely. Just see what happened when Prabhupada Nilesh was present with us and we went to India and tried tried to help Prabhupada demonstrate the potency of his preaching, and his godbrothers became so upset with him. They had no time for him. They gave him no assistance. He maintained a cordial, polite manner, but at the same time, he told us, do not associate with the Gaudiya Math. If you look at the invitations in our classes here, we tell people, if you're a member of the Gaudiya Math or you're a disciple of them, do not come to these classes without permission. Don't. Just like if you're an ISKCON person or you're a follower of an ISKCON guru, you're not welcome here. You're not. Why? Because you don't see things properly. We don't need to get into an argument, a stupid argument with you. That's what it is. It's just stupidity. We have no time for that. If you're prepared to listen and you're prepared to understand the philosophy correctly, you're more than welcome. You can call us up privately. You can deal with us. We'll try to discuss it. We'll see where you go. A lot of times when I've dealt with my godbrothers, and Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu knows this, I've tried to work with them and talk to them, people I've known all my life. And when I bring up these points, Nilesh, to them, they immediately get mad, get angry. This is not the way you deal with dissension. This is a big mistake. And this big mistake that they've made, even the karmis know better, Nilesh, how to deal with dissension. They do. It's done through dialogue and open-minded discussion, not with character assassination, banishment, like that. That's how they deal with the godbrothers that we are. And many of us senior to them in understanding, not just in birth, but and by practical service. They didn't, a lot of these people, we have a friend of ours, ex-friend in Toronto. He got initiated. I don't know why I recommended him to Prabhupada, Nilesh. I don't really know. He never really did much. And then he blooped after a while, back in the 70s. And nowadays he's got a comment on everything, and he's criticizing us and criticizing what we do and how we're carrying on, trying to preach this truth to others. But this is the way of the modern society, where everybody has an opinion and everybody is operating on the basis of narcissism. Somehow or other, they think they know because they've got the label, I'm a Prabhupada disciple. So the first thing to understand who is Srila Prabhupada, properly understand him, that he is the representative of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada without any doubt. And you judge an action by its result, not by the words of a person who's a dreamer, a speculator, an ambitious, envious, narcissistic person who has no understanding of how to approach a spiritual master with humility and take up his mission to serve him. Srila Prabhupada is a unique person in the world for all of us, very unique and special. Bahunam Janmanam Ante. Out of many thousands, out of many millions of persons, out of many billions of persons, he is the unique, bona fide representative of Krishna. If you understand that, then you've got the beginning of being able to understand who Krishna is. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, if you could further elaborate for us, and then we'll move to our panel.
Well, this particular point about understanding who is Srila Prabhupada, this is essential, because this means to understand who is the authorized Acharya.
Yes.
Who is the authorized representative of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Who brought the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. Who did the work? Who accomplished the prediction that is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavata by Lord Chamdas Thakur? So many acharyas predicted the appearance of a great personality, and that was Srila Prabhupada. Now, out of sheer resentment and envy, some people did not accept, did not recognize Srila Prabhupada's work, did not help him. Oh, they may have given a few letters or a few compliments. Okay, that's nice. But practical work, no, they did not. Now, this is a very important point, because the issue comes up that now that Srila Prabhupada is no longer, quote unquote, physically here, well, how do we understand the philosophy? In other words, it's just like after Krishna left, what was the solution? How to understand spiritual life? And Prabhupada is nicely described. This is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that after the disappearance of Lord Krishna, this is from the second canto, chapter 10, text number 7. Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 10, text number 7. Prabhupada says, the original source of all energies, or the summum bonum, is the absolute truth, is called Param Brahma, etc. And Bhagavan is the last word of the absolute truth. But even with the synonyms for Bhagavan, such as Narayana, Vishnu, and Purusha, the last word is Krishna, as confirmed in the Bhagavad-gītā. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate, Bhagavad-gītā 10:8. Besides that, the Srimad Bhagavatam is the representation of Lord Krishna as a sound incarnation of the Lord. And Prabhupada quotes from the Bhagavatam itself, 1.3.43, Krishna swadamopagate darbhagyana dibisaha kalo nasta drishamesha puranarko adunoditaha. Thus, by general conclusion, Lord Krishna is the ultimate source of all energies, and the word Krishna means that. And to explain Krishna, or the science of Krishna, the Srimad Bhagavatam has been prepared. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, this truth is indicated in the questions and answers by Sutta Goswami and great sages like Shaunaka, and in the first and second chapters of the canto, this is explained. Very important point. Hare Krishna.
Haribo, thank you. Neela Sharma in Florida. Could you please further
Hare Krishna.
continue?
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Haribo.
Haribo. I have a few points, and
Yes.
I'll ask one question upfront to Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, so he has time to kind of respond to it. Is that you read at the beginning of the class, Vishwakarma Prabhu, the Shishtashtakam.
Yes.
And the seventh part of the Shishtashtakam, which talks about a moment of separation is equivalent to 12 years. So my question to Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu is, what is the significance of this 12 years? Why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talking specifically that a moment is equivalent to 12 years? It kind of beats me a little bit. So if you can opine on that afterwards. And then the shlokas which you were talking about today, where Krishna says that even in 15:15, where he says, Vedaischa sarver aham eva vedyam. See, Veda means knowledge, or the book of knowledge. Vedas as book of knowledge. So, Vedaischa sarver, of all the books of knowledge, aham eva vedyam, I'm the one to be known. And if you want to understand this, is that, many people want to think like, no, I want to know for myself. For that, I would ask them to go to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, Text 34. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, Text 34. In fact, I have it up over here.
Please put it up.
Yeah, if you want to share my screen, if you allow me to share the screen, I'll share it. Share
Bhakti
screen.
Rupesh, share his screen, please. There you go.
Okay. All right, there you go. That is it. 2, 2, 3, 4. Bhagwan Brahma Kratasvena Trir Anvikshaya Manisaya Tad Adhyaya Vyasat Kuto Sto Ratir Atman Yato Bhavet. The great personality Brahma, with great attention and concentration of the mind, studied the Vedas 3 times, and after scrutinizingly examining them, he ascertained that the attraction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, is the highest perfection of religion. Now, look at how Lord Brahma studies the Vedas, and look at what Prabhupada tells us how to study the Vedas. The great personality Brahma, with great attention and concentration of the mind, studied the Veda how many times? 3 times. Now, typically they say that to study one Veda, of course, the main Veda has been divided by 4 into 4 by Vyasadeva, but of that one Veda, 1/4 of whatever we're talking, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda, any of these Vedas, to study one Veda, you take 12 years. So imagine if you have to study all the 4 Vedas, it will take 48 years of your life. Now, you can either take the steps to go up, or Prabhupada gives us the elevator right away. All we got to do is press the button of what? Of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and we can go up the ladder, up the tower of bhakti. So we got to understand that why was Srimad Bhagavatam created by Vyasadeva to begin with? He had finished with all his literary translations of the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Vedanta Sutras, everything. But he was still feeling very incomplete. Now imagine the literary incarnation who is portraying himself as an ordinary person. He could not figure out why his confusion was, and this confusion can only be cleared by a bona fide spiritual master, which marries into the another conversation which Vishwakarma Prabhu said, that who is Srila Prabhupada? He is the one who will liberate us through the knowledge. Now, yes, many people will say like, oh, look at what he's done. He's done, spread the Krishna consciousness to so many countries. Yes, that is true. You see, but many a times you have to see is that what he has done to people individually, how many people he has changed, their whole lifestyles, their whole thought processes, how they have given up anartha nivrittis, how they have taken up practicing of bhakti yoga. These are the parts which you have to understand. Who is this Srila Prabhupada? You see, so the Bhagavatam was created by Vyasadeva just to give us this intense focus of what Vedaischa sarver ahameva vedyam. From all the Vedas, he has accumulated everything which talks to you about Krishna and how you can increase your devotion to Krishna. That is why it is likened like what? A ripened fruit. Now, all of us have handled at some point or the other a very ripe mango or a very ripe avocado, for all you know. Especially those green-skinned avocados, not the harsh ones which are rough, because the harsh ones have been made popular by corporate America. It's because it's easier for you to transport them. But if you go for the green skin, if it is very ripe, it is very easily damaged. That is why you have to handle it with a lot of care. The ripened fruit, imagine, you do that in your kitchens. Next time you hold a ripened fruit, think how you're holding it. This is the same way you need to hold the Srimad Bhagavatam, which comes into another point of discussion where what Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu was talking about is the books are the representation of God. If you know there's no doubt about it, how we should treat these Bhagavad-gītās, these Bhagavatams which are there in our house. Try to go to a Gurudwara, a Sikh Gurudwara. See how do they treat the Guru Granth Sahib. It is the instructions of their spiritual master. How they treat it. They treat it just like a human being. They put it to sleep. They give it utmost respect. They put it on their heads. And whenever whoever is carrying that Guru Granth Sahib does not wear slippers or any kind of footwear. Think about it. I was watching a video where somebody had gone to a Gurukul, a Mayavadi Gurukul, where he wanted to study the Vedas, and this guy was giving him one book of the Vedas, but he refused to hand it over. He said, you cannot hold the Vedas with your shoes on. You have to remove your shoes. This is the reverence, because we don't understand the reverence associated with the books. The books are the representation of God. We can never put the Bhagavad-gītā on the floor. We have to put it on an asana. Just like when any important dignitary comes, in the transcendental realm, we never give it any ordinary seat. We give them a proper seat, an asana. So the books also have to be put on an asana. That's why there are these wooden book holders where you put these books and you read from them. So you got to understand that. So next time, go to a Sikh Gurudwara, see how they treat the Guru Granth Sahib, and then you will know how we need to treat our Bhagavad Gītas and the Srimad Bhagavatams. You see? Now, we are talking about also is the fake gurus. The fake gurus, whose mentor they are? It is Joel Osteen. Do you know what is Joel Osteen the Great? We were talking about the different churches in Hamilton area. The mind comes to me is Joel Osteen. Do you know what his worth is? As of today, 2024, as per ChatGPT, his worth is about $100 million. $100 million. What was Prabhupada's worth? I would like to know that. Did he label any of his temples under his name as his personal property? Look at what is happening today with the other camp. New temples which are built. What are they built under? Who is holding which name? You see, I don't want to name the names, but people know this very clearly, that all these new temples are being labeled or owned by certain private individuals. You see, so we need to be careful about that. And then the last point which was coming up is chanting Krishna's name at death. Remember, it is not that easy. It is like appearing for a final examination. If I have not read, I have not done any preparatory work throughout the year, and then I have to appear for a final examination and I have to do it exceedingly well. Is that possible? Without homework, you cannot do. Why does Prabhupada tell us, chant 16 rounds, read my books every day, follow the 4 regulative principles? It's because he's prepping us for this final exam. That can come at any time, at any moment. Until and unless we don't practice, to say the name at the last minute is not. Ajamil could say it because he had some pious activities in the past. And Ajamil had to finish his unfinished business. And that is why after he regained his body, when the Yamadutas released his body, he goes to Rishikesh to finish his unfinished devotional service. So it's not that easy. And lastly, we always beat our chest that Prabhupada did not want to associate ourselves with his God brothers. Can I ask you one question? Why? Have you ever thought, why did he give us those instructions not to associate with his God brothers? Very simple. What is the third offense when we chant against the chanting of the Mahamantra? Can anybody tell me? What is offense number 3? Not following the instructions of the spiritual master. That is the offense of it. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado yasya prasadat nargati kutopi. So if you don't follow the instructions of the spiritual master, why do you want to associate with that kind of a person? This is the reason he did not want us to be polluted by somebody who has not followed the spiritual masters. Has anybody else followed the instructions of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj besides Srila Prabhupada? So similar thing happens over here now. If somebody is not following the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, would you want to associate with that person? These are the thoughts we need to kind of go on. Prabhupada just does not give us instructions just blindly out of his own, just out of a figment of his imagination. There is a deep science and thought process behind it. And we need to be aware of this whole thing. So I would like to know what Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu has to say. Hare Krishna.
Well, thank you for this summary of the discussion today. As far as the point that you raised about the Shikshastakam, or a moment being 12 years or more, I don't really know why. 12 years is a long time. I don't know exactly why that period of time is mentioned there, and I've not heard Srila Prabhupada mention that. But the point is, it's a long time that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is expressing that I don't want to be separated from my Lord Krishna. That even such a small moment of separation is like 12 years. That's the way that I take it. As far as why it's 12 years instead of 14 years or 10 years, that I do not know. As far as all the other points you've raised some very important point, which is very, very good, excellent. Because what happened is that during these classes and discussions, many times we get into a situation where we go from one point to another, one discussion to another. And it's very good that you've summarized these various points, especially this last point that you discussed about not associating with members of these various, I call them neo-mats. Because one thing is, from a historical perspective, I'm talking about history here. Prabhupada knew very well the history of what happened to his Guru Maharaj's institution, how it broke up, why it broke up, what was the mentality that led to the breakup of the Gaudiya Math, who were the main persons who engaged in the activities that led eventually to the breakup of the Gaudiya Math, and he warned his disciples in his books, and also at that point, let's remember that in 1977-78, we didn't have the kind of computer technology that we have now. Now, we can look at many conversations, many lectures that Prabhupada gave, and many letters that Prabhupada addressed to many leaders of his movement, of his society, to avoid the association of these people. Why? Because they disobeyed the instruction of their guru. They disobeyed the instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. They let their personal ambition take over the mission. And that was the problem. That's why Prabhupada mentions in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the Ad-lila, chapter 12, text number 8, and other texts, when he analyzes the breakdown of that institution, it's exactly on this issue. Lack of faith in the instruction of the spiritual master. And Prabhupada said, we had firm faith in the instruction of the spiritual master. That's why the movement became successful. And we see right now that many individuals within the society, within the Prabhupada society, who have chosen to take advice or so-called advice from various advisors in these neo-mats, have brought total confusion to the original teachings of Prabhupada. Because we don't have a record anywhere of Prabhupada telling us, go take advice on issues of management, initiation, discipline, succession, vyasasanas. It does not exist. Prabhupada gave no such instruction for any of his leaders to go consult such persons. He gave us all necessary instructions. As a matter of fact, on 18th of October 1977, in a conversations with a few of these leaders, Prabhupada is asking, so this initiation, is it clear? Prabhupada is asking them, is it clear? They said, oh yeah, it's really clear. Then why is it that a few months later, the very same people who told Srila Prabhupada that everything is clear, they went to some other advisors to try to get things clarified? That's because of this exact point that you raised. Gurura Vagnya, disobedience of the spiritual master's instruction. Because they had their own ambitions, they had their own plans, they had their own political agenda, and it was very convenient to get some advice on things that they wanted to do, things that Prabhupada told them not to do. So that's all I can say for now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. And we've come to 11:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Canada and around the world, which is winding up our show, our program. And we want to thank everyone who comes on a consistent basis to be a part of this Zoom online live presentation. And remember, our program will be put on our Hare Krishna Society YouTube page for future referral. And these classes are being captured for us and new people and future generations to make sure that there is no confusion on how to become a bona fide disciple of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. Very important. And we would like you to please refer this program to others. We have Bhaktivedanta here. He's raised his hand. Please, Bhaktivedanta, if you want to make a few comments as our marketing director.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I do very quick note to answer Nilesh Prabhu. I just put the quote on the discussion. Prabhupada explains that yoga means 12 years. That's where it comes from, the 12 years thing. And I would like to ask all the devotees over here, if they have Facebook, if they have YouTube, they can subscribe, they can share all the posts to their friends so we can reach and make the snowball effect. So we can advertise these programs very nicely because they are very nice and they can help everybody on this planet. Hare Krishna.
Yes, and we're coming out with 3 more commercials this week. We'll begin another one, another production. So if you're on the media, social media, share them. It's one way, it's a propaganda to share this information with others and help them if they're so interested. We are more interested in quality people, not quantity. Yes. It's like gold. Do you prefer 12 karat gold or do you like 24 karat gold, Nilesh? Well, do you like a really good diamond or do you like a poor diamond? Well, everybody wants a good diamond. Everyone wants real gold. And everyone wants the truth that's sincere about finding out about it. And this is a forum to help them. Of course, there's the books they can study on their own and they can become enlightened with Prabhupada's knowledge when it's properly received in the disciplic succession. Please send in your Vyas Puja offerings to us. We're preparing the book. Venkat Bhatta is preparing it for our online publication. And we are looking for people to help us, one person. Hopefully Nilesh Sharma may help us with one class per week as a host to be able to transmit this show and go to the different references in the Shastras. We have the directions, Nilesh, given by our production manager to give you direction on how to do it, and you'll become added in. Rupesh would be one, you could be one, and Venkat Bhatta can be one for now. And this way we can maintain our program without any interruption and expand it with the help of all of our team here at the Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society. So we're going to move forward with the end chant section, which Bhaktivedanta created for us. And remember, come tomorrow for Srimad Bhagavatam class from the original Delhi Bhagavatams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and the Sankirtan mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupesh, could you put on the final section? The video. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desired trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for participating. Thanks Rupesh Prabhu, Vishwakarma Prabhu, and everybody who participated in this program. Thank you very much, Nilesh Prabhu, for your wonderful comments and summary of our discussions today. It was a little lengthy, but very interesting to hear. We really enjoyed every minute of it. Thanks everybody for participating, and welcome everyone to tomorrow's Srimad Bhagavatam class, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, corresponding to 10 o'clock a.m. Florida time and Hamilton, Ontario, Canada time. And again, everybody take shelter of Srila Prabhupada. All glories to His Divine Grace. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.